Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are so.
This long, winding road trip at long last comes to a close in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the Braves have a chance to make it a spectacular road trip with a victory over the Brewers. They've rolled out the barrel. We'll see if Atlanta can walk down the red carpet and head back home with a 6-4 road trip. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. Great to be back with you after a day off yesterday. A game started by Anibal Sanchez, won by the Braves 5-1. Atlanta's offense scored early. Joe, they kept adding on, and now have a chance to split this series today.
You know what yesterday was to me? It was like a flashback to what we've seen earlier in this year, where the top of the order was really on fire, and they got a great pitching performance from Anibal. But good hustle here, get things going by Albies, kind of set the stage for Freddie, who had a big day, a single, a double, a triple. He was on fire and looked like his old self yesterday. And the Braves did this despite all these horrible shadows in this ballpark that you can see dappling the infield. 5-1 was the final. They did keep adding on, but the pitching staff did a great job, held a good hitting Brewers team to 4 hits.
What would it mean for the Braves to come home 6-4 through St. Louis, Yankee Stadium, and Miller Park?
It would be huge, and especially gaining a split with this Milwaukee team after losing the first 2 games. If you'd said before the road trip, we'll take 5-5, that's what they're guaranteed already. They've already had a good road trip. Today would be icing on the cake to come home 6-4.
So Sean Newcomb has the ball for the Braves. A disappointing outing last time in New York. It was Niagara Falls Day for Sean. Weather conditions ought to be a lot more favorable for the pitchers today.
Yeah, let's hope so. There was such humidity in that ball game, and he had on his long sleeves, as he will have on today, and he just could not grip the baseball. He threw a couple of pitches to the backstop on breaking balls that got away from him, but that was really a hiccup on what has been really good pitching over his last 12 starts. Let's hope he's back on the beam today against a good team. He's got a great record against sub-500 teams, not so much against teams that are 500 or better.
And who knows, if Sean picks up his 8th win, perhaps he'll be considered for the All-Star game representing the Braves and the National League. We will have more from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Packed house for Game 4. Glad you're with us. Braves Brewers baseball coming right up.
Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Another absolutely beautiful day here in Milwaukee, and we're leading you up to the series finale between the Braves and the Brewers before we head on back to Atlanta. And today is a big game today. The Braves are going for a chance to earn a series split with Sean Newcomb on the mound. And you know, we love showing you guys the different road ballparks that we get to visit, and we love getting to show you all the unique features of those ballparks. And Miller Park has a pretty cool one in Bernie's Slide in the left field bleachers. So their mascot, Bernie, hangs out in Bernie's dugout during the game, and when the Brewers hit a home run, he goes down the slide. So, of course, as any journalist would do, we had to experience this firsthand to be able to report all of the facts to you. So you grab your burlap sack, and I was told right before this, you guys, that they had just cleaned it and it was going to be super slippery going down there. Really fun. I mean, a really unique feature here, and it's one of the things that stands out whenever you look at this ballpark. And Bernie's been going down that slide a lot because this Brewers lineup, as we know, they're really good. Up until yesterday, they had a 12-game streak of hitting a home run, and Sean Newcomb's going to hope that he can continue that and quiet those bats because they didn't hit one yesterday. Hopefully, we will not see Bernie going down that slide again today. But we're getting you set for the series finale, a first-place showdown between the Braves and the Brewers. First pitch and starting lineups with Chip and Joe is next.
Jersey giveaway. That's why the Brewers are filling the seats today, as well as two first-place clubs on a perfect afternoon for baseball. Special ceremony before the game. It's family day here, and that is Stephen Vogt's little son, the Brewers catcher. Look at this guy.
A big one, isn't he? Check him out.
And that's the best part.
That sure is. That's awesome.
So the Brewers' first-round draft pick in 2036 is on hand for the series wrap-up between the Braves and Milwaukee on a glorious afternoon for a ball game. Atlanta with 50 wins, 38 losses, tied for first in the East with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Brewers 53-36, a game and a half in front of the surging Chicago Cubs. Junior Guerra's the man on the mound for Milwaukee in Game 4.
Junior Guerra is a well-traveled veteran. He's 33 years old, 6 feet, 240 out of Venezuela. And his home starts 2-3 with a good ERA of 2.67. A career record that's really good, 15-12, 3.5 ERA. The Brewers got him from the White Sox a couple of years ago. He's coming off a start where he gave up 2 hits and no runs in 5 innings against Minnesota, and it was a win. Low 90s fastball, slider, and a change.
And Joe, the Braves offense in St. Louis, in Yankee Stadium, and here in Milwaukee, by and large, has done a pretty good job. Atlanta's averaging 5 runs on this road trip. And this Toyota starting lineup hopes for that kind of production in the road trip wrap-up. Still no Ronald Acuna Jr. Brian Snitker resting Acuna. The groin problem flared up the other night. He'll get 3 full days off, with the next game coming up at home on Tuesday against the Toronto Blue Jays. So Charlie Culberson will get the start in left field. He'll hit 7th. And let's see what Ender and company can do for Atlanta. They've had very productive first innings in this series. Got a couple of runs for Anibal Sanchez yesterday, and boy, was Anibal outstanding again.
He's terrific again. The only game really you think back on in this road trip where the Braves kind of got shut down and was a surprise was here the first game. They got 2 runs in the first inning of Julius Chassin and didn't score again, and only had 3 hits. Other than that, they have been swinging it good, and it's bright, sunny, no shades, no shadows yet.
So the first one to Ender is cut on and missed, and we are underway. Strike 1 from Guerra. Ender at 248 on the year, 6 homers. He's knocked in 33. He's picked up 8 hits on this road trip. L-tie strike. 93 miles an hour, 0-2.
Here's something very coincidental. He's made 16 starts, Guerra, and he's had a different umpire for every start except for Quinn Walcott. Quinn Walcott is calling balls and strikes today for the 3rd time that Guerra has started today. That's really unusual.
Does that qualify as a Quinella?
Yes, it does. Sure does.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ender might have gotten a break on that last pitch, and the right-hander turns it loose, and it's way high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Everybody's ready to get home, no question about that, but everybody extremely focused on this game. There is a huge psychological difference between a 5-5 trip and a 6-4 trip. So this would be a great one for the Braves to win behind Newcomb, and Ender coaxes a full count. Guerra will walk you. He has 34 walks in almost 88 innings. He is averaging over a strikeout per frame. And his 3-2 pitch is off the plate. How about that comeback? Ender was down 0-2 and walks. He led off Friday night's game with a walk and scored a first inning run. So Ender with a career high 23 stolen bases already. Let's see if the Braves put him in play in front of a sizzling hot Ozzie Albies. You talk about a guy's offensive season flipping on a switch. Remember, Ozzie had that 100 at bat stretch where he was hitting under 200. Well, he's got 32 hits in his last 78 at bats.
That'll make up for it.
Ender has a good lead. Not going on the first pitch, which missed, ball 1.
Manny Pena, who threw out a couple of base stealers a couple of days ago, has gone on the disabled list for the Brewers with a left bicep injury. They had a lot of personnel changes too that we'll get to, but Eric Kratz is doing the catching. While he's a good receiver, catch and throw guy, he's not as good as Pena. He's thrown out 2 of 13 base stealers.
So Guerra with a 1-0 count, and he chases Ender back. Yeah, those personnel changes. Wilkerson, the man who started yesterday for Milwaukee, was sent back to Colorado Springs. Lorenzo Cain was activated. They designated Mike Zagurski for assignment. They brought up Corbin Barnes. Pena and Ryan Braun went to the DL, and Jacob Nottingham and Orf were all recalled from AAA. Just in time for the Brewers game today, and an upcoming 8-game road trip, which features 3 games in Miami and 5 games in Pittsburgh, including a doubleheader.
Oh, man. Well, they may be catching Pittsburgh at the right time. Pirates are really scuffling.
So Guerra having trouble throwing strikes all of a sudden. 2-0 count to Ozzie. The pitch. Lifted out of play, strike 1.
We know how aggressive Ozzie is early in the count. For him to be 2-0, it's almost a miracle.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen many of those this year.
Well, he wants to swing the bat. There's no mistaking that. Guerra got ahead of Ender 0-2, lost him with a walk. Now it's 2-1 for the Braves second baseman. And the pitch is bounced toward first. Aguilar will fire to second for one, and on to first, a double play. Ender tried to stop, or did stop, between first and second, hoping Aguilar would step on the bag. He didn't. Made the perfect throw to start the double play, and they're clear for Freddie Freeman.
Nice play by the big man. If you have not been with us for the first 3 games, Aguilar dresses out at about 300 pounds.
That is one big eagle. So here's Freddie. Is he back? That's what the Braves are hoping. Freddie, a big day yesterday, went 3 for 4. And it figures to be a big day for several Braves who hope to be announced as All-Star members for the National League. That will be announced at 7 o'clock on the All-Star Selection Show. At last count, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, and Nick Markakis led their respective positions in the fan vote. Those results will be announced later on tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shift on for Freddie. The pitch. Kind of nice seeing Freddie ahead in the count.
Yeah, 8 hits on the road trip. He got 4 of them yesterday. 3 of them yesterday, 4 in this series.
Good cut there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It was interesting. Nick Green pointed out that Freddie is standing a little more upright. It's kind of funny to think something so, shall we say, innocent sounding could make such a big difference to a hitter's results. Let's see if it continues here with the 2-2 count. And a line drive headed toward the gap in right center. That's down for a base hit. So Freeman's good work continues. A 2-out single brings up Nick Markakis. He's getting hot, and that's going to be bad news, we hope, for Toronto and Arizona, the next opponents for the Braves at home. Nick Markakis, also an all-star hopeful. 4 hits in this series, a .324 batting average, and a whopping 112 hits before the All-Star break. Amazing.
Hit a triple yesterday. How about that? He and Freddie. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, right? Nick's first triple of the year. He's first in the league in hits, ahead of Ozzie Albies. Ozzie has 107. Freddie now 106. First time the Braves have had 3 hitters with 100 or more before the All-Star break. In Atlanta history. Nick also 3rd in the league in road batting average at .337. Only Scooter Gennett and Matt Kemp have a higher mark than Nick. Good hitter's pitch, 2-0. And a strike.
That's doing that pump fake to first base made that pitch look worse than it was. But he got the call anyway.
Pitch number 19 for Guerra. And a line drive into center again. Kane will move to his left. He bobbles, and Freddie's going to take off for third. His helmet goes flying, and all hands are safe. So we'll see how that scored. Looked like Freddie was going to stop at second. Kane might be charged with an error here, and Atlanta has a 2-out threat with runners first and third.
Yeah, I think it's conceivable they'll do this because Freddie was hustling around the bag, but right there he had a little bit of a hesitation right at the base until he saw the ball come loose. Nick and Freddie, though, doing it again. Too bad about the double play, or they'd already be on the board.
Let's see what Kurt Suzuki can do with 2 outs. Braves have been a good 2-out run scoring club all year. Pop fly foul out of play into the 3rd deck here at Miller Park. Strike 1. And they did charge Kane with an error, allowing Freeman to go from 2nd to 3rd on that base hit. Guerra again ready. Strike 1. And that pushed him off the plate. It's an even count. The point you made about the shadows is really going to be an important one as this game creeps along. The shadows have already crept past the Brewers dugout on the first base side. Early runs in this game will be extremely important.
You're absolutely right.
Guerra ready, and his 1-1 pitch to the Braves catcher is hammered toward left center field. Kane says he's got it. He drifts back and makes the play. Well hit ball, but a double play takes Atlanta out of the 1st inning despite a couple of 2-out hits. Sean Newcomb to work. No score.
Sure, but really he does clamp down after the first couple of innings. Let's hope he gets off to a good start tonight. This afternoon. His 4 keys today. Number 1, get a grip. Hopefully without any sweat he will be able to hold on to the baseball a little bit better today. And number 2, it is a key game. Sean is 5-0. 182 against sub-500 teams. He's 3-3 with a 4.79 ERA against teams with a 500 record or better. This team definitely has a 500 record or better. They're a good hitting lineup. They've got Lorenzo Cain back, so it's a key game for him as well as the team.
Let's hope Sean has a profitable day, a long day, as far as innings pitched are concerned, as he turns it loose for the first time and misses to VR. 1 ball, no strikes. VR playing 2nd today, 261 average. Switch hitter batting .304 right-handed. And a nice strike. Evens the count. VR, Yelich, and Kane, the first 3 for the Brewers. And their skipper Craig Counsell. Coming away.
fastball, too.
Sean said when he was being taken out of the game in New York, he said the crime of all this is that I felt better today than I have all year.
Mile-high fly ball toward right center. Ender back to the track at the wall. He's got it for out number 1. Oh, look at VR's reaction. He can't believe that that didn't go out. With his back up against the wall, Inciarte had just enough room for the first out.
That's the second time this series that VR has done that, right up against the wall. And the way the ball is carrying already today, I thought this might have a chance to get out of here. Nice adjustment by Ender right there. Nice catch. I thought Suzuki's ball carried pretty well too to left center.
So there's the first out. No problem. As Christian Yelich bats. Knock on wood, the Braves have kept him under control in this series. Yelich won for his first 10 against the Braves as a Brewer this year. And that one right back where it came from. So Yelich aboard in front of Lorenzo Cain, batting third on the Toyota starting lineup for Milwaukee. As Joe said, the Brewers have a real good club. They're 53-36. Despite a losing record within their division, they lead the Central a game and a half in front of the Cubs. And rumor has it that the Brewers and Dodgers might be the front runners to try to land Manny Machado. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be. Orioles are stacked in their minor league system. They've got a place to deal from too.
So here's Cain. He missed 12 games with a left groin problem. And he takes downstairs ball 1.
They missed him. They continue to play well, but they certainly would love to have him back in their lineup. They get him back today. 4th in the league in on-base percentage.
And a homegrown Brewer, believe it or not, 17th round pick in 2004. Was traded to the Royals in the Zach Greinke deal. Then the Brewers brought him back as a free agent this past January, and he signed through 2022. This one's lifted toward left. Culberson is under it. He's got it. 2 down.
Talk about a good day for an organization. They signed Lorenzo Cain and traded for Christian Yelich on the same day. That's a good play.
Unless you're one of the other 2 outfielders who wanted to play.
Who are now in AAA.
Right.
Yes.
So here's Aguilar. Jesus is hitting over 300, 20 homers, 59 driven in. Not on the All-Star ballot. But I'd almost bet the mortgage that he's going to be in Washington representing the Brewers in some form or fashion. And a high strike, 0-1. Sean's got a good fastball today.
It's interesting how sometimes his fastball starts at 92, 93, and then by the end of the first inning or beginning of the second, he's at 94, 95.
But how about those first 2 pitches? One at 94, one at 92, both fastballs, one taken and one an awkward swing.
Just a little bit of difference. Let's see if he stays with the fastball. Here it goes to the changeup.
Runner goes. It's breaking ball and bounced foul and into the Braves dugout.
Well, that's another thing about the return of Lorenzo Cain. We already know that this team runs a lot, leading the league in stolen bases. 12 for VR at the top of the order, then Yelich with 10, Cain with 16. Top 3 guys are running like crazy.
No balls, 2 strikes. Again, Yelich leads, doesn't go. This one's skied foul and out of play. As a youngster growing up in St. Louis and watching Vince Coleman and Willie McGee and Tommy Herr, it is so refreshing to see 2 baseball teams playing the way they're playing, the Braves and Brewers. Old school, traditional style National League baseball. The pitch up and away. Sean's got one he likes and instead fires to first. Big day for Yelich tomorrow because Milwaukee's headed to Miami, where he'll return as a Brewer for the first time.
They loved him down there.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Good try. Just about exactly where Kurt Suzuki wanted it. Still hasn't thrown him a changeup. He did throw him a breaking ball that he fouled off, but no changeup. Another breaking ball.
On Friday night, Aguilar hit a mammoth home run off Mike Fultonevich off the center field scoreboard. Mammoth power for the big man. The pitch is bounced toward third, and Camargo surrounds, picks it up with a bare hand, throws to first in time. What a beautiful play on a tricky hop at the hot corner. Yelich left stranded. We're through a first inning scoreless at Miller Park.
Your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
Braves are up in the second inning with Johan Camargo leading off against Junior Guerra. Braves had 3 base runners in the first inning, a walk, then a double play, then 2 two-out singles before Suzuki flied out to end the threat. And that's slashed down the left field line, but that'll hop off the tarp. And Camargo quickly behind 0-2. Johan's on a nice roll. Most RBIs on the club since June the 1st. He has 24 of his 39 since June 1. He strikes out here for Guerra's first of the day, 1 out. Johan playing excellent defensive third base.
Oh boy, is he ever. The whole infield is. They, in fact, speaking of Camargo, the last error any of the infielders made was by Johan on June 27th.
And I think they have 6 errors since June 1st, the whole team.
I think so.
Yeah. He'll take that rate the rest of the summer.
Got it.
As Charlie Culberson back in there. And almost almost got hit. 1 ball, no strikes. Got an interesting story on Junior Guerra. He should not be unfamiliar to some in the Braves organization.
No, I didn't know this until today, that he actually was signed by the Braves.
He wasn't a pitcher, right?
Yeah, in his first couple of years in pro ball, he was an outfielder and catcher. 2006, he was in Rome, Gulf Coast League in Danville, and switched to pitching in 2006.
That's smoke toward right center, curling away from Kane. Not going to get it. It's high off the wall. It ricochets past him. Play backed up by Perez, and by the time he gets it, Culberson's at second with a 1-out double.
The ball is flying. That was a line drive that carried all the way to the upper part of the wall, as Chip said. Good swing on a low fastball. But Guerra, to finish that thought, he's been all over the place. He sat out 2007, did not pitch, and then received a 50-game suspension by Major League Baseball in 09. So he didn't pitch in 09 or 10. After that, he came back and pitched in independent league in Wichita, then in the Mexican League, then back to Wichita, then to Italy, and pitched in Italy in 2014 before the White Sox signed him.
That Italy gig sounds like it'd be a pretty good one.
You know, I don't know if they got any wine in Wichita, but it's probably better.
1 ball, 1 strike. For Dansby Swanson. Dansby's got 11 hits in his last 11 games. One of his best at bats came here the other night when he hit a low screaming line drive in the 9th inning on a 97-mile-an-hour pitch from Corey Knebel. With that in mind, the Brewers have Aguilar well off the line at first base, trying to cut off that hole. Pitch. Shot that way and fouled it back. It's 1-2. Guerra's 5-5, a 2.87 ERA. Won last time out against Minnesota. Gave up just 2 hits. He's given up 3 hits in his first inning and a third against the Braves today. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Dansby didn't think so. Thought it was high and wide. He has a parting shot with on-pit umpire, and 2 are out.
Yeah, that was high and wide. Kratz pulled it down. The call had already been made by that point.
So it's up to Newcomb if the Braves are to cash in the Culberson double. Had a good cut. Strike 1.
Sean puts a pretty good swing on the ball. Got a couple of hits, including a double.
No balls, 2 strikes. Kratz with a nice stop. It's 1-2. Keep an eye on the Phillies and Pirates for you today. That one's 1-1 in the 4th inning up in Pittsburgh. Joe mentioned the struggles of the Pirates. Pittsburgh's 14-31 since May 17th. Pirates have been outscored 48-13 in their last 5 losses. The pitch is cut on and missed. Guerra strikes out the side. He's got 3 in the game, and Culberson's left stranded at second base. Still no score in Game 4.
We know how loved Hank Aaron is in Atlanta and quite frankly all around the baseball world. Well, he's just as loved in Milwaukee, the city where he started and ended his career. So 755, a number we all know, his career home runs, and the Brewers memorialized the spot where number 755 landed, putting in a plaque in a parking lot that states that this marks the landing location of the final home run of Hank Aaron's career at County Stadium on July 20th, 1976. But Chip and Joe, to figure out the exact location of where it dropped, the Brewers contacted the Civil Engineering and Mechanics Department at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. That team calculated GPS measurements, they reviewed surveys of County Stadium, studied aerial photos of both stadiums, and watched all of the home run video to make sure they got that exact spot where it landed.
That's higher math, Kelsey, way above my public university education to figure out. But needless to say, all we need to know is that final number, 755. Forward Henry Aaron, as Travis Shaw pops this one a mile high. Who wants it? It'll be Dansby at the cut of the grass for out number 1. So Shaw retired, Perez coming up, then Saladino for the Brewers. No score. We're in the second inning. Frankly, I'm just glad Kelsey survived her slide down Bernie Brewer's chalet earlier today.
Yeah, that's a little scary slide. I mean, it's not like there's guardrails.
No.
Land out in left field.
And hopefully Bernie Brewer will stay perched right there. It comes down the slide every time Milwaukee hits a home run. Doing a little research before the game, surprisingly, and they have the history of Bernie Brewer. Brewers didn't have a team mascot. They're looking for one back in the 70s. And so the original Bernie Brewer was a man 69 years young, Milt Mason, who camped out in a trailer above the scoreboard at County Stadium in June and said, "I'm not coming out of my perch until the Brewers have a crowd of 40,000 or more at the ballpark." Well, on August 16th, they had Bat Day, and 44,000 people showed up. Milt got to come down, got to get a shower, got to shave, and demand for Bernie Brewer grew. By 1973, he became the beloved mascot here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
You know, the funny part about that was that Mr. Mason bought all the bats and provided them, hoping 40,000 would show up so he could go home. And that rough start in New York for Sean, where he had so much trouble gripping the baseball, he only gave up 3 hits. And the trouble was the walks. He couldn't throw strikes. The ball was going all over the place. He walked 5. And of those 3 hits, 2 were homers, and they accounted for all the runs.
Saladino is the Brewers shortstop. Tyler takes a strike. Ball jumps off his bat. Seen that in this series. Perez at first with 1 out. And the Brewers have had all kinds of revolving door personnel at the shortstop position. Orlando Arcia was sent back to AAA because he was playing so poorly. Brad Miller's played there. Saladino's playing there. That's why the name Manny Machado keeps popping up. He could be a solution to that spot for Milwaukee, and obviously another great bat in the middle of this lineup.
He'd love hitting here.
Two balls, 1 strike. Well, that was close.
Well, that's a better pitch than one he called on Dansby.
We've had a great look at that at shortstop. You know, that's exactly what Dansby's thinking there.
That was a 100% strike in the pitch cast zone. Dansby's wasn't even on the line.
So back-to-back walks.
Sort of.
Yeah. But you're a double play away from getting out of the inning, and the catcher Eric Kratz is coming up. Then Guerra, who's 0 for 19. Dansby will come to the mound along with Kurt Suzuki and talk it over. I will say this. We don't know if the Brewers are going to make a deal at the deadline. They have a really, really good club. But their owner, Mark Antanasio, is a terrific owner in this regard. When they have a chance to win, he goes out and gets players. They've acquired Sabathia. They've acquired Greinke. I mean, those are not easy acquisitions to make financially or player-wise, but a small market team, he is not afraid to pull the trigger and give the green light to his front office to go get the best available player for their club's needs.
Very forward thinking. They came so close last year to getting in.
That one bounces away, and that'll take away the double play chance. An unfortunate wild pitch on a breaking ball. Perez at third, Saladino at second. And as sharp as Sean looked in the first inning, not so here in the second.
I think that might have bounced off Kurt's shin guard. Couldn't quite tell, maybe even his arm, not the glove.
Well, now you're in a spot where you'd really prefer a strikeout or a ground ball right at someone. Kratz does not have a hit in the series. He's 1 for 12 against left-handed pitching this year. That's out of play for an even count.
He got a great pitch to hit there and missed it.
That helps. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Go there again a couple times if you want. Fast runner at third. Anything in the dirt, Suzuki's got to knock that down. Let's see what Newcomb comes up with here. The pitch. He chased it, and there's a big second out. Now you've got the pitcher, and everybody can back up a step or two at the corners.
He did just what you suggested, Chip, and that was go back up the ladder. Got Kratz to chase. Keep an eye out for the squeeze here. Guerra's 0 for 19, but he does have a couple of sacrifice bunts.
Margot a step or two behind the bag at third. And a strike. Good save there. Now Sean ready with his 1-1. Took a little off, not much. 93 miles an hour. Now he's got the pitcher at his mercy.
Yeah, he was locating it, though. I want to make sure he threw a strike, even at the expense of Guerra maybe putting the ball in play.
And a swing and a miss. Nice comeback for Newcomb after 2 walks and a wild pitch. Milwaukee strands 2 in scoring position. And our scoreless duel moves to the 3rd inning, where the top of the Braves order goes to work. Scoreless game, we head to the third inning. Second time through the order for the Atlanta offense. Ender and Ciarte will lead off for the Braves against former Brave farmhand Junior Guerra, who's looking to earn his 6th victory of the year.
Well, they have packed this place today for those Robin Yount t-shirts.
Those in the National League who didn't get to see Robin Yount play, you saw him a lot over in the junior circuit. How would you compare Robin Yount's talents to a contemporary player today, if you could?
I'll have to think about that because he was so versatile. Could beat you any possible way on the field. They drafted Robin as their first pick out of Southern California as a high schooler. And then the next spring at age 18, Del Crandall told me a great story about it. Del was the manager of the Brewers at that time, and they had their meeting about who they were going to keep on their team. And he had made such an impression in spring training as an 18-year-old. Del said, I just asked the room, I said, anybody have any objections to an 18-year-old playing shortstop for us? And no one said a word.
Wow.
And he made the club. And never went back to AAA as far as I know, or the minor leagues. What a career.
Still beloved here in Milwaukee, as you'd expect. He's number 19 retired here, along with Paul Molitor, Henry Aaron, Raleigh Fingers, Jackie Robinson, of course. Retired by Major League Baseball. Bob Uecker, 50 years. Plus now with the Brewers.
And remember, I said shortstop. He was a shortstop at the beginning of his career and moved to center field a few years later and was an all-star there.
Ender walks again. Let's see if the Braves can move him around. He was erased on a double play off Ozzy's bat back in the first inning. It's a sign that Ender's seeing the ball well. He's drawing more walks out of the leadoff spot. Ozzy's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
.410 batting average. His OPS over 1,000 in a 17-game streak where he's hit safely in 16 of them.
Fly ball well hit toward right center, but the park's going to hold that. Lorenzo Cain makes the grab. Ender's going to tag. He's going to try to take second. The throw is going to beat him. Ender says he's safe on the backside of the bag. He tried to advance on a fly ball to right center. For the moment, he's out. He's going to ask the Braves to take a look.
Tag's on the back leg, isn't it? It was a great throw by Cain.
I'm not saying a word. We've not had much luck at second base in this series.
Not even sure that Saladino got the tag on him on the back leg, because he then had to reach up and try to re-tag him.
Back in the old days before replay, that's the kind of play the hitter or the batter runner would be automatically called out in that the ball beat him. Wasn't a perfect throw by any stretch, but now with replay, might as well take a look. Again, the Braves are a very aggressive base running team. They want to force the action. They want to force the defense to make a couple of good plays. Catch it, throw it, catch it, and apply the tag. The crowd is seeing the review, and a collective groan as the close-up look was shown on the board, because it appears that what tag was made on Ender's back knee, and the foot clearly in front of the play.
Watch his glove, though. If he tagged him there, okay, but if he didn't, he came up and then tried to tag him and got him on the hand. But he missed his front leg.
Not saying a word. If brevity is the soul of wit, are you ready? Yuck. Here's Freeman. Ready, a base hit his first time up. And line foul back our way. Strike one. I really believe there's a way that they could improve replay dramatically, and maybe they have angles that we don't know about in New York. I'm guessing that they do. This one smoked over the shortstop and into center field. Freddie's 2 for 2. Why not mandate that in every major league ballpark you have a camera that shoots in a line from the first base bag to the second base bag, from the third base bag to the second base bag, so that you can cover all of these angles? It seems like you just can't get the correct angle to determine definitively safe or out on these replays. It's so frustrating.
If, as you said, they might have more angles than we have access to, why? Why should they have any more than we have? And how could they have cameras in place here just for New York and that we can't access?
And if that's the case, that should be shown on the scoreboard so everybody in the park knows
the angle that they use
and the reason for the decision.
Yeah, there's a lot of hitches in it that need to be fixed, and I'll stay on my soapbox, and that is the umpires that are ruling on the replay in New York should not know what was called.
Might help. 1-0 from Markakis. Runner at first. Pitch. And that's in for a strike.
Turn the monitors off in New York. Turn them on in the ballpark where that play was made and let them rule on it freshly, without seeing it. Rather, without knowing what was called.
So after the walk, another double play. Ender called out on a questionable call at second base. And Markakis bats with Freeman aboard. He too with a first inning single. Shadows creeping ever so slowly toward the plate. First base is covered in shadow now. There's the 1-1 pitch. It is up and away. Fly ball to left. Nick mad he missed his pitch. And Yelich puts that away, and the side is retired. A walk, a double play on review at second, a hit, and a fly out sends us to the home third. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, which allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Braves have 4 hits. They've left 4 on base. Couple of double plays haven't helped. Sean Newcomb will face the top of the order for Milwaukee. VR, Yelich, and Kane. First one way high, ball 1. VR hit a deep fly ball to right center his first time, and Ender, with his back up against the fence, made a last-minute adjustment and caught it at the wall. We're out number 1 in Milwaukee first.
We're talking about their options in the middle infield and how they're trying to shore some things up. I think the biggest problem that Craig Counsell has these days is finding playing time for these guys that can play so many different positions. You know, with the way Aguilar is going at first base, Eric Thames, it's hard for him to get in the lineup unless he plays right field.
And with Braun in and out of the lineup now with injury, he can get some time in left if he had to.
Yeah.
Braun out with a back problem, or a side problem, which has plagued him a time or two. 3-1 pitch. He smoked into left. So 2 hard hit balls by VR to start his day. He's 1 for 2, and that is the second Brewers hit. That brings up Christian Yelich.
Like a hanging breaking ball. No, change up. My bad. Change up the middle of the plate. Got it.
Yelich hits lefties well, as we remember. With his first inning single, he's now 4 for 6 lifetime against Newcomb. And off the plate, ball 1. 44 pitches for Newcomb in the game. 23 balls. He's walked 2, but he's had deep counts, especially the last inning. But has not yet allowed a run. Slapped down the left field line, but curling into the sun-splashed seats. It's an even count.
Yelich has started in all 3 outfield positions in this series.
And Perez, another guy that could play everywhere for them defensively. Saladino could probably play second or third if he had to. Of interchangeable parts on this Brewers club. Not to mention a lights out bullpen. VR at first, Yelich ahead in the count, 2-1. And another throw to first, and Freeman had to stretch out. Can't be an easy play for Freddie. He's in the shadows now. Newcomb throwing to first out of the bright sunshine, and the shirt sleeves in the stands. Almost got the umpire too.
Yellow to do a little ducking. Good pitch to steal on.
As Joe mentioned, the Brewers' top 3 like to run. VR's got 12 steals. Yelich 10, Kane 16. Those are the 3 up in this opening inning. Good lead. He's going. Pitch a strike. Throw to second. Also a strike. And not in time. VR got the call. He's safe with his 13th steal.
I was going to say don't appeal, but they can't appeal. They've already lost their replay allowance.
Heck of a throw to make it as close as it was.
I'm safe.
So a hit by Yelich could score the game's first run. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sharply hit right field base hit. Here comes VR to third. Markakis loads up. Here comes the throw to the plate. It will be way late. And the Brewers manufacture a 3rd inning run. Back-to-back hits in the inning. It's 1-0 Milwaukee.
'36th RBI for Yelich. Newcomb did all he could do by trying to hold the runner, throwing over a lot. It didn't help. Close play at second. But Villar able to swipe it.
So Milwaukee's in front, 1-0. Nobody out. Lorenzo Cain, the batter. He flied out his first time up. Good hook. And a strike. Lorenzo was born in Valdosta. He lives in Norman, Oklahoma in the offseason. Got a World Series ring with the Royals. Had a great career in Kansas City. As he shoots this one towards second, just out of reach of Ozzie. And the Brewers have 3 straight singles in the inning.
Got in his kitchen, fought it off, but strong enough to get it over Ozzie.
So 2 are on, nobody out. Aguilar is the batter, and it's still 1-0 Milwaukee. Aguilar hit the ball on the ground his first time up. It was to Camargo at third base. Another play like that would be welcome. The Braves could get a double play potentially. Shadows now have covered the left-hand batter's box. Right-hand hitter still bathed in sunshine. That's why those early inning runs on a day game in Milwaukee can be so critically important. It gets tougher and tougher for the hitters to see the ball.
Told you about the guys at the top of the order who will run. And Lorenzo Cain with a giant lead at first base, watching Yelich to see if he takes off. Freddie's trying to bird dog him a little bit and make him go back to the bag, but that's a huge lead.
Two balls and a strike. I mean, Cain is getting a lead out to the edge of that shadow on the infield. Well, it's got to be 16, 17 feet off the base, if not further. And that one got away. It rolls to the Brewers on deck circle. Newcomb late to get to the plate, but no further advance. Wonder if Suzuki had trouble seeing that ball coming out of the sunshine, or he just boxed it.
No, I don't think. He just boxed it. May have screened himself as the glove went up. May have gone right in front of his face and screened him from the baseball. I don't think he got crossed up.
Well, this is a dangerous pitch. Second and third, nobody out. 3 balls and a strike to the Brewer cleanup man. And the base on balls, that's 3 walks. And the bases are loaded for Travis Shaw. Out comes Chuck Hernandez for a chat. Brian Snitker will pick up the bullpen phone, and somebody might start to get ready here. Braves have announced Julio Teheran will get the ball against Marcus Stroman on Tuesday night. They've not announced the starter for Wednesday. Brian said in his pregame chat that you could bring back Mike Fultonevich on normal rest to pitch that game. Or another option might be Luis Gohara if Gohara is not needed for the Braves today. We'll see who starts to play catch in this inning. As the Brewers have sent 5 men to the plate, nobody's out, and Shaw the hitter. One Achilles heel for Shaw is he has not hit lefties well this year. He's been battling wrist problems almost all season long. He does have a grand slam. That came last June against the Dodgers.
And over the last 2 years, 2 for 25 against Atlanta. Braves really need a double play here.
Strike one. Brewers have done an excellent job, as most first place teams will do, in making some under the radar acquisitions. Shaw might have been one of them. He came over from the Red Sox for Tyler Thornburg. Fly ball left. Culberson is there. He makes the catch. Tag, throw toward the plate, over the head of everybody. Newcomb backs it up. The ball's by the on deck circle, and everybody else moves up. So that throw sailed over everybody. No chance to cut it off. Shaw gets a sac fly and an RBI, and Kane at third, Aguilar to second. It's 2-0.
Braves defense has been so outstanding. This is a real anomaly this inning. Actually a wild pitch last inning, pass ball this inning, and now Charlie just airmailing everybody. That allowed all the runners to move up. Bad fundamental inning. And only 1 out.
And it takes you out of the double play, and another fly ball could give Milwaukee a 3rd run. Hernan Perez walked in the 2nd inning. He was stranded at 3rd base. Infield in, pitch. And ball 1. Fly ball belted center field, deep, and gone. A no-doubter, fastball right down the middle.
You just talked about Hernan Perez being a very versatile player. He is a terrific player. And if they're talking to the Orioles or anybody else, one of the guys that I would want on my list coming back the other way would be Hernan Perez.
Kind of wish they made the trade this morning.
Yeah.
A 3-run homer caps a 5-run inning. And Sean just cannot throw strikes consistently in this game. 62 pitches, 31 strikes, 31 balls. That is often not a ratio that gives you a lot of success.
His curveball has not had any snap at all. It's been slow. It's been loopy. There's not been any real hard downward tilt to it.
Three-two pitch popped up in the shadows, foul ground. Freddie backpedals and has it. And Saladino is retired, 2 away. And Eric Kratz, the 8th man to bat in this Milwaukee third. Pittsburgh's leading 4-1. That's good news. Game at PNC Park. Miami beating the Nationals 4-2 in the 4th. Long way to go in that one, however. Boy, the Nationals gotten huge games from Trey Turner and Mark Reynolds the last couple days.
Yeah, I still think one of the best pickups after the season started was the Nationals signing Mark Reynolds just as a backup.
He had a great line after their game yesterday, a game that they clobbered Miami 18-4. Reynolds drove in 10 runs. He said, yeah, that's a pretty good week. Right.
Trey Turner driven in 8 the night before.
Right. And a sharply hit ball. Diving play. Camargo, a gorgeous effort. And Freeman the scoop at first. Newcomb bailed out by an excellent defensive play by Camargo. But a real sloppy and productive inning for the Braves and the Brewers. They played 5, capped by a big Perez 3-run homer. Three-run homer for Hernan Perez caps a 5-run third for the Brewers. Junior Guerra now has a big lead as he enters the 4th inning of play at Miller Park. And as we worried, those early runs favor Milwaukee. And now, Joe, the challenge for the hitters batting in full shadow now with the hard-throwing right-hander working in the bright sunshine. Look at that challenge for the offenses now.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse. At least at this point, the ball is traveling about 45, 50 feet in the sunshine where you can track it. Once that shadow moves out even closer to the mound, it'll get more difficult.
And a strike. Well, Guerra's got the lead, but he, like Newcomb, hasn't exactly had a great strike-to-ball ratio. 29 strikes among his 50 pitches. He's walked a couple of hitters. The Braves have been doubled up twice. And an awkward swing, slowly hit to short. Saladino has it, and the throw on the money for out number one.
The Braves usually come to Milwaukee and enjoy trotting around the bases a lot. Last year in the 3-game series here, they hit 6 home runs. They have not hit a homer in this 4-game series.
Fly ball on the first pitch down the right field line. Long run, Perez and company over near the stands and out of play. VR slid at the fence, slammed into it, but he's all right.
He waited a long time to go into that slide too.
Ooh.
Again, no padding down there at the bottom, just concrete.
So a strike for Camargo, 0-1 your count. 5-0 Milwaukee. And 0-2. And the advantage for Guerra here now with this big lead. He can just pump strike after strike. Sure. And with those shadows, more advantage for him. Noah, 55-footer. 1-2.
2 starts ago, he gave up a bunch of runs. That was against Cincinnati. I told you about his good start last time out against Minneapolis, against the Twins.
Swing and a miss. 2 up, 2 down. Strikeout number 4 for Mr. Guerra. And Charlie Culberson, the batter, he had a ringing double off the wall his first time up.
If there's an Achilles for Johan, it appears to be that off-speed pitch, batting left-handed. Changeup, straight changeup, gives him a lot of trouble.
It's taken low, ball 1. And Charlie getting the start for Ronald Acuna Jr. today. Strained a groin running toward first base. Here the other night, didn't play yesterday, won't play today. The Braves are off tomorrow and entertain Toronto in a 2-game series beginning Tuesday night at SunTrust Park. Jays are in for 2 games, Tuesday and Wednesday. Then the Arizona Diamondbacks come to town for their lone visit Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's the All-Star break. Slap toward the seats and into them. 2 balls and a strike. Tampa Bay's winning again. They're crushing the Mets 8-0. Big moment for Jose Bautista the other day. His first career walk-off homer. You can believe that. Nothing across for the Mets yet today. The pitch is chopped toward third. It's right to Shaw. His throw on the money. And a shutdown inning for Guerra in a scoreless Atlanta 4th. Pitcher coming up for the Milwaukee Club. It's 5-zip. Junior Guerra's ready. Newcomb's ready. And now Quinn Walcott is ready behind the plate for the bottom of the fourth inning. 5-zip Brewers have the lead, and that's ball one. So one would think, Joe, on this very comfortable afternoon in Milwaukee, that the issue for Newcomb wouldn't be grip related. We're not seeing nearly the cascade of perspiration off the bill of his cap today that we saw up at Yankee Stadium. But it has been a command issue. He's not throwing a lot of strikes.
There you go. And very few first pitch strikes as a result. I don't see the aggressiveness, the aggression that you normally see from Sean attacking hitters. Haven't seen much of that. There's a big one. I didn't mean it in terms of hitting somebody, but I don't know. The body language is a lot to me, and it hadn't been there.
And he takes care of his mound opponent for the second time via strikeout. 1 up, 1 down, and back to the top of this fearsome Milwaukee order. And VR the batter. He started the 5-run rally with a base hit. Goes to left field after he almost homered leading off the game. VR, originally a Philly, was traded to Houston for Roy Oswalt. Never really got a lot of playing time with the Astros clubs. That was when they were losing 100 games every year in the middle of their long and torturous rebuild. And in 2015, Milwaukee got him for Cy Snead, a right-handed pitcher. Newcomb just issued another walk, this one on 4 pitches.
I'm going to guess that while he was there, though, they had a guy named Altuve coming into his own, too, that made it a little hard for him to find playing time.
And a guy named Correa on the way, et cetera, et cetera. But it's worked out well for the Brewers, as VR has hit 36 home runs in 2+ seasons here. He's been an excellent leadoff man in this series. Pitch fouled back by Yelich. It's 0-1. We will see the Brewers again in Atlanta August 10th, 11th, and 12th. That'll be the final 3 games head-to-head between Atlanta and Milwaukee. It'll be very interesting to see how differently, if at all, these clubs look roughly 2 weeks post non-waiver trade deadline. Brewers are in a neck-and-neck race with the Chicago Cubs, whom they have not played all that well against. The Braves, of course, tied with the Phillies, with the Nationals beginning to close. 0-2 pitch. Sharply hit. Ozzie, what a play. Second one. Gotta hurry, and not in time. Yelich hit another missile. Albies might need to check the webbing. He got the force out at first. Braves out of challenges as Yelich called safe to keep the inning alive.
What hands. I don't know that they could have turned it any quicker. And yet Yelich still beat the relay.
And that apparently is going to be it for Sean Newcomb. Ryan Snitker's on his way out. And one of our stats we showed you about this road trip comes to fruition again today. Atlanta's starting pitching has had its share of troubles. Newcomb's out after 3 2/3 in a 5-run Milwaukee game.
your local Ford dealer. And the Georgia Lottery.
Well, this road trip for Sean Newcomb has not been an awful lot of fun. He went 3 2/3 innings today in Milwaukee, and in New York at Yankee Stadium he went 2 2/3 innings. So what normally would be a pretty good one game start total for Sean Newcomb ends up being 2 turns on this trip. And he'll turn things over to Luke Jackson with a runner aboard, 2 outs in the Brewers' 4th. Runner at first goes, pitch a strike, throw to second is late. And Yelich, as we told you, likes to run. That's his 11th steal. And Craig Counsell knows this park very well. He also knows how ferociously the Braves offense can come to life in the late innings. 5-run lead in this place on this kind of day is not a very big lead.
Well, Ozzie was pointing to the dugout. I can see why, because Yelich's hand went into his foot and not the base.
But the Braves are out of challenges, and it wouldn't matter anyway. They'd get it wrong. So Kane, the batter, with a runner at second.
That stolen base was a huge jump off Jackson. Can't really blame Kurt on that one. But Kurt is now 1 for 22. He's throwing out base stealers. And don't think for a minute that a team like Milwaukee, when they're going over scouting reports, don't know that. So when a team that likes to run feels like they can run on a team's catcher or catchers, it's off to the races.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And off the plate. Well, in this series, the Brewers have 6 stolen bases. At first glance, that doesn't sound like a lot, but in this day and age of baseball, with teams reluctant to run and running into outs instead of 2-run or 3-run homer, that's a lot. We're barely a third of the way through game 4. The pitch not close, and Jackson walks the first man he faces and brings up Aguilar with 2 on and 2 out.
An inauspicious start for Luke, who's coming off arguably his best outing the year, if not the best in his Braves career. 3 innings of 4-hit 1-run game at New York at Yankee Stadium. Walked 1 and struck out 5 in those 3 innings.
Well, these guys are wearing pinstripes too. Let's see if Jackson can duplicate that effort. And fastball has Aguilar behind, strike 1.
And that too is in relief of Sean Newcomb.
So with Gohara not the first man out, what would be long relief? Maybe reading the tea leaves, maybe that is the direction the Braves are leaning for the Wednesday evening game at home. Is a starter against Toronto. This ball hit to short. Dansby will flip to Ozzie, and that retires the side. Milwaukee had base runners all over the place in the 4th, but they don't add to what's now a 5-0 lead.
by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers.
8-9-1 coming up for the Braves in the 5th inning. Dansby Swanson, Ryan Flaherty's grabbed the bat, and then the top of the order against Junior Guerra, who leads by 5 runs here in Game 4. A swing and a miss.
Baseball players as a group are blessed with real good vision. Hitters, great hand-eye coordination, but excellent vision for most of them. The counter to that is trying to pick up a baseball in this situation here. The ball traveling essentially the entire distance in the shadow. Got a nice hitter's background, batter's eye, but it's like trying to hit at night with no lights on.
That ball's well struck towards center. Kane on the run, not going to get it. It's off the base of the wall. It deflects away from him. Dansby is going to stop at second with a leadoff double. And so the point I was making a moment ago might be beginning to come true. The ball's flying, 5-0 lead. Braves can come back in an instant if they put together a big inning, and Dansby has a leadoff 2-base hit.
If they can pick it up and they can see it, they can hit it. Just missed hitting that one out of there, the deepest part of the park for Dansby.
Kane's had a couple of missed plays in the outfield, but it didn't cost him an extra base. So Jackson faced 2 hitters, retired 1. He'll be pinch hit for. Ryan Flaherty's the batter. Hits are even 5 apiece. And downstairs, and it is Luis Gohara getting ready in the bullpen. So looks like the Braves will use him in long relief. They wanted to clear the pitcher's spot. And they'll use Flaherty to hit for Jackson. And he had a good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know what's amazing about this crowd? You never see a Brewer fan drop their bratwurst when they catch a foul ball.
Oh, they're well schooled. I don't think it's part of their junior high education, but when they get to high school, that's one of the things that's like a prerequisite.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and fouled away. So we got a 98 in algebra. We got an 87 in English, 100 in PE, and a 96 in not dropping the brat. Or the nachos in this case. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pop fly down the left side and into the seats. A couple years ago, one of our old friends, Caitlin Moyer, who works with the Milwaukee Brewers, brought us a couple of their new food items. Remember when they had a ballpark sushi, but it was like a bratwurst rolled in rice and deep fried or something like that? That was a little interesting.
I had some other monster thing that was just about everything that they had back in the kitchen.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Leadoff double for Dansby here in the 5th. He's trying to come back. Top of the order lurking. Pitch in the dirt. Good at bat. Full count. Looking forward to getting back to SunTrust, where George and Mike and all the great folks at Delaware North take such great care of us up in the broadcast booth. They had a nice 4th of July, and you as well. The pitch. Smoke towards second. Productive out. Nice play. And the runner to third, one away. PR, a nice effort at second on a hard hit ball. And now the top of the order, NCRT and Albies will try to put the Braves on the board.
That was a very nice play. VR has been very impressive in this series, and reminds me of his 2016 season more than last year. Last year he was a little iffy. 16 he had a tremendous year, stole a ton of bases. I was watching him hustle a minute ago on that foul ball down the third baseline that Shaw was chasing. He ran all the way from second base over to cover third in case he caught it and Swanson might have had a chance to tag. Very heads up play by him.
Enders walked twice. Well, you know who appreciates that? That's his manager, Craig Counsell, who was a very smart, very heady, very alert infielder. He's a major league player. He's done an excellent job here.
Well, there's some players that when you watch them do something like that, they might, in this case, a player might run over, stand at third base to make sure everybody saw that he did that. You know, everybody see me? Everybody see where I am? Not BR. He made a U-turn, hustled back to his position, start the next play.
One ball, 2 strikes. Enders hanging tough. Craig Counsell graduated from Whitefish Bay High School here in Wisconsin, went to Notre Dame, played in the big leagues with Colorado, the Marlins, Dodgers, Arizona, and the Brewers.
That real quirky stance where he held his hands, both hands together on the bat, straight up in the air as high as he could reach with his hands, before using that as just a starting point to get his swing started.
Scored the game-winning run of the 1997 World Series for the Marlins. Popped up, shallow left. Who's going to catch this? Saladino is there, drops the ball. Ender didn't run out of the box on the pop-up. He's at first base. A run is in to make it 5-1. But Ender could have very easily been at second base on that drop.
Yeah, easily.
Braves will take the run, but the double play is still in order.
Yelich backed off of it because Saladino had called for it. You got to run because you just never know. No excuse.
So it's an error on Saladino to score the run. Albies bats and smokes one up the middle, and that's into right center field. Ender's going to run around second. He'll be at third for Freddie Freeman. And Atlanta comes charging back here in the 5th inning. First and third, one out. So it goes without saying, had Ender been at second, a run would be in. But still a chance for a big inning, as Albies has a hit in his 17th out of his last 18 played. And Freddie red hot, 5 hits in his last 6 trips to the plate in this series. As Joe said, Atlanta has not hit a home run in this series. This would be a perfect time for one from Freeman.
You bet. Still get that run in, get Ender in here with a big fly.
Foul away. Hey, what a catch. Braves fan.
Man, oh man. Front row of the second deck, that was a great catch.
Guerra ready with his 0-1. Bouncing ball to the first baseman. Aguilar to second, one. Throw to first is in time. The Braves have hit into their third double play. And Ender not running cost the Braves a second run. They settled for one in the fifth. 5-1 Milwaukee.
Back to Atlanta after this game wraps up to start a series with the Blue Jays. Now, Julio Teheran actually went back to Atlanta after the New York series. He got sick the day of his start, but he is feeling better. He was supposed to throw a bullpen side session in Gwinnett today, and he is slated to start the game tomorrow, guys. So Julio is good to go, although he is not here with the team.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. And one of the options for the Braves was Gohara on Wednesday. Well, Luis is going to pitch here. But that's not the only interesting change for Brian Snitker. Ender Inciarte has been pulled from this game. And Danny Santana will take over in center field. Santana will bat ninth. Gohara will bat first in Ender's spot.
And while the pitcher's coming in, and you might say, well, maybe it was a double switch. Well, you gain one batting spot, ninth to first. That is not a double switch. And I'm proud of Brian Snitker because no one should be immune from not hustling.
So Travis Shaw leads off against Gohara. He's popped out. He's hit a sac fly. And he takes inside from Luis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves were encouraged last time Gohara pitched. His fastball was starting to come back. He popped 96 a couple of times in his last outing. And Atlanta envisions this guy as a starting pitcher, but because of his injury and because of the back and forth yo-yo between Atlanta and Gwinnett, he's only made 1 start. Ground ball, Freeman, diving play, gorgeous, race to the bag, wins it. 1 out.
Telling you that, folks, this infield defense has just been spectacular. Again, the last error made by an infielder was June 27th by Camargo, which is surprising in its own way. All four of those guys have been just absolutely great.
So Gohara gets the first man. Let's see if he can retire Perez, who hit a long 3-run homer off Sean Newcomb. And that's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. And 2-0 your count.
I like Luis Gohara a lot. I like his stuff. I like his breaking ball, his velocity you just talked about. Seems to be coming back. He's young. He's still just a kid. You know, we can say all we want about his weight or his conditioning or whatever. If he'll apply himself in those areas, this guy could be really good.
Fly ball straightaway center. Santana, who just replaced Ender, is tested. And there's the first out.
It's good to hear Kelsey's report that Julio's feeling better. We didn't know that he was just sick as a dog for that start in New York and really in bad shape after the game. I don't know if they had to give him an IV or not after the game, but he was just really hurting. And yet he went out there and gutted it out, tried his best in that last game in New York. So hopefully he's good to go after a side session in Gwinnett.
Yeah, 5 innings, 5 runs. The bad news, but he struck out 10.
Yeah.
New York Yankees. So Julio, we're looking forward to seeing you Tuesday night. Marcus Stroman will pitch for the Blue Jays as Tyler Saladino faces an even count.
I'm surprised to see Stroman's 1-6. Boy, he struggled for the Blue Jays.
He's had some shoulder problems in the past. Their general manager mentioned that they may have to as an organization calibrate toward 2019 and beyond. The Jays don't look like they're going to make the cut in the AL playoff race. I wonder if Stroman's a guy that they would consider moving. As the 1-2 pitch comes in and it's bounced foul. The 1-6 record, they might be selling him if they decide to do that for pennies on the dollar. But the Jays are 19 games out of first place and they're 6 under 500 entering action today.
I think I would guess anyway, looking at standings, that most of the action is going to come in the National League. You look at the American League in the East, there's only it's a 2-team race. Central is a 1-team. The West is 2 teams right now. And then you look at the National League and there's a ton of teams still in it in the hunt.
Hard hit ball, but Johan's right there, and Gohara comes in and has an uneventful 1-2-3. Bottom of the 5th inning. 6th in Milwaukee. 5-1 Brew Crew. the mound for Milwaukee. It's time for today's Sherwin-Williams Painting the Corners feature.
He's had a good outing again. Only 1 run allowed in 5 innings. He's walked a couple of guys. He's been in some deep counts. He's left a lot of guys on base and made pitches when he needed to. And it seems like most of the time when the Braves have something cooking, it starts with 2 outs, or they've got 2 outs with a guy on.
He's got 3 double plays in support as well. As Nick Markakis leads off and takes a strike. Nick's 1 for 2 in the game. We're in the 6th, game 4 of our series, game 10 of this road trip. These are 5 and 4 so far in St. Louis, New York, and Milwaukee. Let's see if they can come all the way back today.
And as I said at the beginning of this broadcast today, anybody would have taken 5 and 5 at the beginning of this trip. Heck yeah. The problem is Phillies won 6 in a row and could win another one today if they come back against the Pirates. They caught Pittsburgh at the right time. They're beating teams they should be beating. So they've gotten hot while this road trip's going on to move into a tie or percentage points ahead of the Braves.
Yeah, Atlanta goes home for the next 5 games. Phillies have a long 4-city 11-game trip, but against losing clubs. So the schedules right now on paper favor the Phillies. Pitch is hit sharply to the shortstop. Big hop. Saladino's got it, and there's the first out. Ball sounded funny off the bat. I wonder if that bat had a crack in it.
Well, I was sorely impressed with the Braves last inning when I talked about the shadow being so difficult on hitters. For them to hit the ball with the authority they did in the 5th inning. That does not take away the fact that it's still hard to see. And that may have gotten in on Nick a little bit where he didn't hit it on a good spot on the bat.
Suzuki's 0 for 2. And he swings the first one, and that's straight away to Kane in center. 2 are out. Again, we will have a great charter flight home tonight. Hopefully we'll get the news before we land as to who will be the Braves all-star selections. The starters will be announced at 7 o'clock tonight on a rival network. For the National and American Leagues, as we told you, Markakis, Freeman, and Ozzie Albies led their respective positions at last vote count. We don't know what the final tally is. That'll be announced this evening. Last time the Braves had 3 or more all-stars represent the National League was 2012.
And it's even longer ago that they had 3 starters.
I think 1960.
Milwaukee team, yeah. No, I think it's safe to say there'll be at least 3 guys in there, with those 3 guys, Freeman, Albies, and Markakis, leading the vote going into last night or Thursday night. It was compiled, but they most certainly will be on the team even if they're not starting. Freddie had a huge lead. Be shocked if he's not still the starter.
Well, Joe, you got to remember they do vote in Chicago too.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it would be subject to review in New York.
No.
Oh.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Camargo, who struck out a couple times against Guerra. Leads 5-1 in the game. The pitch. And up and away. All-star game will be in Washington. And whoever makes it for the Braves, well, one bit of good news for those fortunate enough to be on the team. They won't have to travel. They'll be waiting for the Braves when we get there.
That is a big deal too, folks. To not have to travel, let's say, to the West Coast for the game, travel back to join the team, to travel then to wherever you're going to open up after the All-Star break. That is a real bonus for those guys to get a couple of days rest.
Three balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. And we know our friends in Washington will do a good job with the All-Star game. That'll be a star-studded affair, quite obviously. Let's hope the grounds crew is ready with the tarp in case there's not a cloud in the sky.
Oh, they will be. They're good at that. But, you know, it used to be that play would resume after the All-Star break on Thursday.
Right.
And man, oh man, did that cause I'll call it a hardship on the All-Stars, because they got no rest during the break heading into the resumption of play. So finally that was resolved with basic agreement, Players Association, and they agreed to, I believe that's part of the agreement, is to not resume until Friday.
Yeah, that extra day for everybody is a real tonic in the middle of the summer. And we'll rejoin you in Washington the Friday after the break for what will be a big series with the Nationals. We're losing in the 7th inning to Miami 4-2. Again, the Marlins have lost 14 straight games to Washington. They're trying to end that this afternoon. Tanner Roark started for the Nationals. Pittsburgh leads the Phillies 4-1 in the 8th. Here it's 5-1 in the 6th. Milwaukee with a 4-run lead. Bouncing ball to third. That's a fair ball. Long throw, high throw, bad throw. It ricochets from Aguilar into shallow right field. Here comes Camargo. He's going to slam on the brakes. And the Braves have runners at second and third with 2 outs. An airmail throw to first. And the Braves get a break. Dansby Swanson's coming up with 2 on and 2 out.
I've been bragging on the Braves infield. It's plays like this that make you appreciate all they do. Good hop for the Braves that it bounced so far away from Aguilar into right field, and Camargo did have a thought about trying to score.
And so a reminder here from Kratz, with Swanson the 8th place hitter. Remember, the Braves double switched, so it's not the pitcher following Swanson, but Danny Santana, then Gohara. So a mental check here for Junior Guerra, with Swanson up in a big run scoring spot here. When you play good teams and you are a good team, you got to cash in the extra outs they give you. Brewers have made 3 errors today. One in center, one at short, and one at third base now. And that forces the pitch count of Guerra up. The Brewers bullpen is busy. We've not seen Hader. I wonder if he'll be unleashed in the 6th or 7th inning. Fly ball to right on the first pitch, but he got under it. And on the warning track, Perez makes the catch, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, an error, 2 left. Still Brewers 5, Atlanta 1. race in Milwaukee. This was a titanic struggle.
What a relay.
Eric Kratz pops the first one into the seats. You know what they say about the sausage race, don't you?
I'm scared to ask.
No matter who comes in first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, everyone is a wiener.
Like I said.
Yes, I've been waiting since Thursday. Ground ball to short, and Kratz will be retired, 1 out. Looks like it's the end of the line for Junior Garris. 6 innings of 1-run ball. And the Brewers will go to their bench. Nate Orf, who was just called back, is going to pinch hit. There they are. Chirito let me down again. But maybe next year. O'Hara blows a fastball right on by Mr. Orf. And he's down a strike.
I'm not even sure Orf got out of town. He was optioned out yesterday, and then the injury to Braun resulted in him coming right back.
Tell you what, the 10-day DL as opposed to the 15-day DL might be one of the best things that's happened in baseball for a long time. Guys that have nagging injuries can take 10 days, not 2 full weeks. And the inflammation or tenderness or whatever is bothering him settle down a little bit.
I agree. You don't miss half a month.
Right. And that, and I think the concussion protocol, I think those were 2 really, really great things to help player performance in baseball. And teams are using it more liberally, and wisely so. These are big investments. Having so many interchangeable parts for Milwaukee and Atlanta with 2 good farm systems, that's ultimately a beneficial thing. The 2-2 pitch is down the line, foul. They'll do it again. There is not an empty seat in this ballpark today.
If there is, it's because they went to find some shade somewhere.
Robin Yount jersey giveaway as Orf is caught looking. Gohara's got good stuff. 5 up and 5 down. Hope you'll stay tuned for the stretch. It's presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Braves are awfully good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. They'll need to beat today, trailing by 4 runs. And back to the top, VR, who's been on base twice. He scored once. He's got a hit and a stolen base, too. On 1.
When you watch VR here, watch him, how far he has to reach just to tap his bat on the plate. He's so far from home plate, he's got to bend over at the waist to be able to touch home. Wants the ball away, steps into the plate.
On his left toe as he takes a stance for a strike. Kind of Jose Bautista-like. He then would have that high leg kick before he uncoiled his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. How about Gohara? 2 perfect innings in relief. He is scheduled to hit second for Atlanta. We'll see if he stays in the game, which is led 5-1 by Brewers. brilliant in this series against the Braves.
Sure has. This is his third appearance in 4 games. 2 innings, no hits or runs in the first game. Struck out 2. 2 days ago, an inning, zeros across, struck out a batter in that one. And that was in a tight situation when he came in the 7th of that frame. Braves already had 3 runs in and nobody out.
Santana leads off and fouls one away. It's quickly 0-2.
Good sign in the on-deck circle.
It's not Luis Gohara, but Ronald Acuna who would pinch hit. Gohara was excellent. 2 innings of perfect relief with a couple of strikeouts. 5-1 Brewers. As that's in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Pittsburgh did beat the Phillies 4-1. So that's good news. It snaps the Phillies' 6-game winning streak. If the Braves can come back, they'd have a 1-game lead in the division all by themselves. But doing that in this park against this bullpen is going to be tough. One ball, 2 strikes. And taken downstairs. It's 2-2. Danny Santana came on for the Braves in the 5th inning after Ender was taken out of the lineup. Ender hit a pop-up down the left field line. Ball was dropped. He stopped at first base. A run came in. And instead of him being at second on an Albies base hit, he was left at third. And then a double play into the inning. So it could have been a 5-2 game. So here's Santana in center. One would think. The pitch the rest of the way, and it's cut on and missed. Jennings continues his mastery on the mound. There's the first out of the inning.
He's pretty much a 2-pitch guy. Fastball, slider. But boy, oh boy, is that slider a good one.
And here's Acuna. If you are just joining us for the series, here's how Ronald got hurt. When he started limping, everyone thought, uh-oh, he did something to the knee. But it was the groin that was problematic, and the Braves didn't risk it. They got him out of the game immediately after that run-scoring infield hit.
Let's hope he doesn't hit one like that again.
So that was his lone hit in the series and RBI as well. And he shoots one the other way, a base hit. That ball had a distinctive ring to it. And he hits one the other way. That's a good sign. Here come the Braves in the 7th. A man aboard with 1 out.
It really is a good sign. Fastball down and in, too.
Again, right guys, right time for Atlanta. Albies is 1 for 3. Hit into a double play in the first, flied into a double play. Ender tried to tag up and was called out at second. Replay in New York thought the Braves' appeal was incorrect. Call stood, or not enough evidence to overturn it. Hitting a fly ball later, the Braves' 3rd inning came to a close. Nothing in 2. Got away with one there.
Sure did. But he had taken enough off of it that Ozzie was out on his front foot a little bit.
Ozzie with 50 extra base hits. Before the All-Star break, the team record is 53 extra base hits. Hank Aaron and Darrell Evans have done that. Albies has scored 69 runs. 17 games where he scored 2 or more runs. Those are all-star caliber stats.
They sure are. First full year, pretty amazing.
1-2 pitch. Good take. Brewers bullpen is busy. The challenge for opposing managers when you face the Braves is that lefty or righty are really betwixt and between, because Freeman and Markakis hit lefties extremely well.
Especially in this stretch of the order where you've got a switch hitter and then Freddie and Markakis.
2-2 is back to the mound. Bobbled. Jennings will have one play, and he makes it to first. That was almost a double play, but the bobble cost Jennings a chance to turn 2, and now it's Freeman with a runner at second, and now 2 outs. Two more hits for Freeman today. 5 for his last 7 in the series. It means a run. Big shift on for him as Jennings goes to work. Cracks with a nice stop. When you make a pitch like that, it's really a head scratcher to me, because we know how Freddie Freeman loves to hit the ball over where the shortstop normally plays. That's a perfect type of pitch for him to do exactly that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that.
A lot of teams pitch him against their shift.
And I don't understand why. One ball, one strike. Freddie can roll over a time or two, but when he's going like he's going now, that's a tantalizing target for him. The other way, the 1-1 pitch.
That was the slower breaking ball there.
And the right guy's right time, but the Braves are down to their last out in the 7th.
Interesting that 3 of those hitters are left-handed. Freeman, Markakis, and Shedler.
One of the Brewer umpiring fans is a little upset.
One of them was Jennings, too.
Yeah.
I want to know where that pitch was.
3 balls and a strike. And Freeman walks. So that helps. Markakis is coming up. Nick is 1 for 3. Let's take a look at our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. As we've told you, the Braves a good 2-out hitting team.
Well, you just pick your poison there with 2 outs. Good numbers across the board, a lot of RBIs, tied for first in that category. And to pick up, you know, last inning, 2 on, again, there was 2 outs. So Dansby hit the ball hard, but deep fly ball ended the inning. Braves have left 7 men on base coming into this inning. 2 outs again, but to pick up a run or 2 here would be enormous.
Strike 1 to Nick. Jeffress getting ready in the Brewers bullpen. He's got an electric arm. downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another base runner, and the Braves would bring the tying run to the plate. Another visit by Kratz. Again, with all due respect to Craig Counsell, he knows his team far better than we. I'm shocked we haven't seen Hader yet in this series.
Has to be something wrong with him. You know, there have been a lot of opportunities to use him, even for 1 batter or 2, and I'm just going to assume that he's sore, trying to stay away from him.
And as dominant as he has been, especially against lefties, that is a real advantage for any club facing Milwaukee. We'll see if Atlanta can take advantage here. Hader with an eye-popping 83 strikeouts in 44 2/3 innings. And left-handers 3 for 48 with 30 strikeouts. But he has not even played catch so far this weekend. The pitch. And fouled away again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's, I think, what makes this Brewers pen so good. Even when their #1 setup guy and closer don't pitch, their secondary relief pitchers are really tough.
Right. That's what Brian Snitker said to Aaron Boone in New York. He just kept bringing in closer #1, #2, #3. Brewers are not far off that either.
Now the 1-2 pitch is fouled away.
Barely got a piece of that to stay alive.
Nick has 8 multi-hit games in the last 15 he's played. 37 multi-hit games overall. He has a first inning single so far. A hit here would potentially bring home Acuna. Freddie at first, and another 1-2 pitch is caught on and missed. He pulled a string, and that retires the side. Jennings continues his good work in relief. A couple of strikeouts. We've reached the stretch in Milwaukee. It's the Brewers 5, Atlanta 1. Christian Yelich leads off the Brewers' 7th inning. Sam Freeman is the 4th Atlanta pitcher, 3rd reliever today. Milwaukee with a 5-run third has made that stand up in Game 4 of the series. Good day for Yelich. He's reached all 3 times he's been in the batter's box.
4th time for Sam to pitch on this road trip, and he's pitched well. Once in St. Louis, once in New York, now twice in Milwaukee. The first 3 times out, no hits or runs allowed. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Late swing by Yelich, who's quickly behind 0-2. Phillies lost earlier today. If this score holds, the Braves will be tied entering the off day tomorrow. The Phillies will head to New York. They've got a doubleheader tomorrow against the Mets.
Is that a makeup game or the first part of a series?
Yeah, it must be. Don't know the answer to that. Two balls, 2 strikes for Yelich. And bounced foul at first.
Yeah, they're at the Mets on Tuesday too.
I would assume they'd run into DeGrom in one of those games. At least you hope so. From the Braves' perspective, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Yelich is retired. Freeman gets him. I'll tell you what, Braves pen today has done excellent work. Jackson, Gohara, so far Sam Freeman. They have not yet allowed a hit, which is encouraging.
Biddle pitched 2 innings 2 days ago of 1 hit shutout ball. They only speed bump on Thursday night. Carl went 3 innings of no hit, no run ball. Freeman an inning, same. Winkler gave up a home run to Perez, 3 runs in the 8th inning was the only hiccup there.
Swing and a miss by Kane, who's back from a groin problem that cost him 12 games. Well, look, hitters go into slumps all the time. Freddie Freeman is escaping one right now for the Braves. Relief pitchers, starting pitchers, they all go through those down stretches too. I would assume, Joe, the most difficult part about it from a relief pitching standpoint is it comes in one of the most noticeable parts of the game, where the game's on the line and you stumble and the other team scores a couple of runs or you lose the game. That's the higher wire act that those bullpen guys deal with. Ground ball deep short. Nice pick, Dansby, and a perfect throw to first. That was hard hit and slick.
He kept his feet, even though it was hard hit to his backhand. He kept his feet under him. Nice play.
I got to tell you, folks, these are extremely talented kids playing the infield for Atlanta. But if you come to SunTrust Park and you get there early enough for batting practice, watch the work that Dansby Swanson, Johan Camargo, Ozzie Albies, Ryan Flaherty, and the other infielders go through in their daily drills with Ron Washington. It is baseball at its best. One-on-one instruction, very fundamental plays, and Ron is out there relentlessly with his fungo bat, working with these guys, not in the field, but on the side by the on-deck circles.
Yeah, they're on their knees. Both people.
Yeah.
Ron and the player on their knees. He's just throwing them short hop after short hop with their glove and with his glove, which is just a round saucer of a piece of leather to get them to catch the ball in the center of it. It is really paying off.
Jesus Aguilar, the batter, with 2 outs. Strike 1 from Freeman to him. He's walked and scored in 3 trips. Fouled back. You played with Ron Washington in the minor leagues. You've known him for a long time. I don't know him nearly as well as you do. Man, do I appreciate that guy. He is a joy to talk baseball with.
He was no different as a player. In fact, he might have been even more intense as a player because he wanted to get to the big leagues so badly, and he never, ever took a play off. Ever. You know, Walter Alston once said about Junior Gilliam. If you don't know who Junior Gilliam is, look him up. Great player for the Brooklyn Dodgers, primarily in his career, but also the Los Angeles Dodgers. Walter Alston said, I never saw Junior Gilliam make a mistake on the bases. And that's the way I think of Ron Washington. He was a smart player. He hustled, but he wasn't silly about the way he ran the bases.
Wasn't reckless.
Wasn't reckless. Wasn't over exuberant. If you got him, if you threw him out, it was because he was playing hard and hustling. He had a good arm, good hands. He could hit.
You know, one of the great compliments you give any player in our sport is when you describe that player as a baseball player. As Aguilar launches one toward right, an opposite field home run. He's a baseball player too. And Bernie will slide down from his chalet as Milwaukee extends the lead to 6-1. 21 homers.
Tell you what, if this guy doesn't make the All-Star team, they shouldn't play it. Fastball up and away, and he hit it that way. Into the bullpen. Again, he's one of those guys that you don't want him to beat you, but you sure do pull for him and appreciate his success. Good for him.
But I was going to say, you compliment big leaguers by saying he's a baseball player. The compliment I would say for Ron Washington is he's a baseball man.
Yes. Well, he wants to win.
Yep.
Whether he was playing, managing, coaching, he wants to win, and he doesn't care who gets the credit.
He did an amazing job with the Texas Rangers. This ball is bounced up the middle by Travis Shaw. And some two-out trouble for Sam Freeman here. Ron Washington became the Texas Rangers manager in 2007. They were in 4th place his first year. From 2008 to 2013, they finished second, first, second, and second.
He was 1 out away from a world championship.
1 strike.
Yeah.
Against the Cardinals. 10 big league years with the Dodgers, Minnesota, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Houston.
And as a player.
As a player. He worked with the Oakland A's infielder when Oakland led the American League in fielding in 2004 and 2005. Finished in 2nd in 2006. Eric Chavez, remember how good a player he was?
Gold Glove.
6-time Gold Glover.
I think he gave one of them to Ron.
Did he? Well, Ron Washington won more games than any other manager in the history of the Texas Rangers or the Washington Senators, which is where the Texas franchise began.
Is that right?
664 wins in 8 years. To the World Series in back-to-back years, 2010 and 2011. The other thing I love about Ron, if you don't want a truthful answer, don't ask him the question, because he is going to tell you. So he's a big part of what the Braves have accomplished with 50 wins in their first 88 games. The 3-1 pitch to Perez is outside. And this one slipping out of sight. 6-1 Milwaukee. As the Brewers continue to hit in the 7th inning, a 2-out walk. And Saladino is the hitter. Braves are home with Toronto Tuesday night. Milwaukee goes to Miami and Pittsburgh before the All-Star break. Braves open up, as we told you, after the break in Washington. Milwaukee has a tough stretch. They host the Dodgers and Washington in a 6-game homestand. They go to San Francisco and LA. An 8-game trip out west. One ball, one strike for Saladino. And up and away. Come on, Sam. 2-1. Evan Phillips is getting ready in the Braves pen. Three and one. A homer, a single, and a walk after 2 are out. Bases loaded.
28 pitches, 14 strikes, 14 balls. It's amazing what happens when a guy is pitching really well, like Sam has been, gets 2 quick outs, and then a guy goes opposite field, hits your best fastball up and away and hits it out. All of a sudden, it changes your confidence, changes your feeling about your stuff. And following a homer, a single and 2 walks. And that's going to end his day.
Yeah, I was going to say, it also forces the manager to change pitchers, and that's what Brian Snitker will do here. After 2 quick outs, a homer, a single, 2 walks. Freeman, after 28 pitches, is down, and the Brewers continue in a 6-1 lead late at Miller Park. Inning, leading 6-1.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Evan Phillips will come in and try to send this game to the 8th inning with only 1 Brewer run across. That the Aguilar 2-out solo home run.
Evan Phillips gave up a homer in New York, but I liked his stuff, what we saw of it in those 2 innings. What a way to break in. Pitching in Yankee Stadium.
He was set out, but then Max Fried developed the blister, and he was called right back from Gwinnett. So, like the Brewers, the Braves have used their AAA shuttle liberally on the road trip. And the first pitch by Phillips is cracked by Kratz to left. Culberson with the glasses on makes the play, and one pitch retires the side. Charlie's going to make a friend in the left field bleachers. Braves come to work in the 8th. The Phillies' long win streak, and the Braves, if this score holds, will remain tied entering action tomorrow. The Braves idle. The Phillies have a doubleheader with the Mets. This is Trevor Williams, 32nd game for him. Again, look at his numbers. Taylor Williams, no wins, 2 losses.
32 innings, 43 strikeouts, fastball 94 to 97. And one of those.
Yeah.
Slider.
Which is pretty good.
Like I've said before, there ought to be a rule that if you throw that hard, you can't throw anything else.
Spoken like a true hitter. Williams out of Washington State, born in Vancouver, Washington. And I'm probably going to pronounce where he lives incorrectly, so my apologies. Is it Camas, C-A-M-A-S, or Camus?
It's Camus.
Camus. Well, that was the third choice. Told you I'd get it wrong. Started his college career at Washington State, went to Mount Hood Community College, and then transferred to Kent State, which was where Dustin Hermanson, Steve Stone were collegiate pitchers, and he gets his first man Suzuki on strikes. I love his high school mascot nickname, the Mean Machine.
Oh, okay. I believe it's pronounced Camus.
So it was Camus? All right. Heck, you and I should know how to pronounce that. 1 out.
Yeah.
For Camargo. Johan 0 for 2 with a walk. Herman Munson also from Kent State. Great Yankee who passed far too soon. Margot down 0-2. I got to tell you, I'm thoroughly impressed with the Brewers. You see their record, and you see them from afar, and you wonder, okay, are they for real? You see them up close. I get it now. I made the comparison at the start of the series that they play very similarly to the Yankees. They hit home runs. They've got good starting pitching. They have a very deep, very versatile bullpen. They have an outstanding farm system. They play in a very tough park for opponents to have success. Unlike the Yankees, they can manufacture more runs on the bases.
They've got more speed.
And I like this team a lot. Play.
And anytime you see a team for the first time in a season and you like the way they play or their style, or you see how good their players are, and they have a good bullpen, then you realize they are not going away.
And remember, this is a club that is without 3 of their top starters penciled in at the start of the year. They might get Wade Miley back by the end of their road trip, but don't forget Zach Davies and Jimmy Nelson both out. Davies won 17 games last year. Nelson won a dozen. That's 29 wins for their starting staff on a team that last year won 86 games. They haven't done anything for them this year, yet they've won 53 games.
Right.
That's
Other people have really stepped up.
impressive. Yep. Two balls, 2 strikes for Johan Camargo. And that's fouled over the screen. And for the Braves, again, if this score holds, a very respectable road trip. As you said at the start of our broadcast tonight, or today, St. Louis, New York, Milwaukee, you go 5-5. Would you have taken that?
I would have absolutely. Write it down.
And that's what the Braves are squarely looking at the moment. This one's hit on the ground toward first, and pitcher covers quickly, 2 out. I think what's so exciting, if you will, during a 5-5 trip is that the Braves are able to do that with Freddie in a horrible slump that he's coming out of, the issues that the bullpen had, and the lack of length and depth by the starting staff in the 10 games.
Yeah, with the exception of Anibal Sanchez, and I think about Fulton Evans' outing in St. Louis, starting pitching hadn't been all that great. The only other disappointing thing, if you want to put it that way, is to start 4-0 and to finish 5-5. There were a lot of high hopes after they started 4-0.
So Culberson, the batter, with 2 outs, and takes a strike.
I was getting texts from people around baseball saying, are the Braves ever going to lose again? That's how impressive they were on the beginning of this road trip.
Yeah, and they went to St. Louis and just picked apart the Cardinals in 3 games up there. Won the first one in New York.
Yeah,
very impressively. 4 straight losses. A win yesterday, and now trailing 6-1 in the 8th in the finale of the road trip. Bouncing ball toward Aguilar at first. He's going to run to the bag, and the big man rumbles to the pillow in time to retire Culberson. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Hernan Perez. They put it out of reach. That's our StatCast description powered by AWS. That told the tale for Sean Newcomb, who lasted 3 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks. And a rough road trip for Sean, who had 2 poor starts at Yankee Stadium and here in Milwaukee. Phillips back to work. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Eric Thames leads off. As we told you, the Brewers signed Thames from Korea. As you take a look at Thames with that protective pad, that looks like Korean lettering on the arm pad. Maybe that came over from the KC Dinos, the name of the team he played for over in South Korea.
That is a heck of an arm guard.
Two balls, 1 strike.
Good sinker, good slider from Evan Phillips. Going forward, he will be a good asset in the bullpen. You come in and you're in a spot where you need a ground ball, maybe you get a double play. He could be that guy.
High fly ball belted, break out the tape measure. Wow! Last row of the bleachers, almost out of the ballpark. I got to tell you, that's one of the longest home runs I've ever seen hit here.
I agree. It didn't come down for the longest time. Backdoor slider didn't go backdoor enough, and it almost went out the door. It's up under that Miller Lite deck.
That was KC Dynamite for Eric Thames. StatCast says that one went 464 feet. And that one's hit the other way by VR. That's going to be a double. And Phillips is getting hit hard with extra base hits here in the 8th inning.
And I have to believe 464 is right, because who knows how far it is up there. Wow.
So VR has another hit. 2 hits for him today. And the Brewers pouring it on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Yelich. His perfect day spoiled by a strikeout last time up. And that's off the plate, ball 1. I know you hit homers in the major leagues. When you hit a ball, not 460, you hit a ball 420. Do you even feel it off the bat? And that sounded so pure off of.
You don't feel it when you hit one just enough to be a wall scraper. You don't feel it. But that had to be incredible. He's so strong. See how big his arms are when you were looking at that arm guard. Tremendous bat speed, and got it out front. Yeah, that's about as long as I've seen hit here. Chipper always hit well here. Brian McCann always hit well here. I can remember numerous home runs from those two guys and from Freddie in the past, but I don't remember anything up there.
No. Old pal Billy Wagner's watching the game. He just texted me and said, "How far did that go?" Well, Billy, you ought to know. You gave up a shot or two that far, didn't you? I'm just kidding. Wags thinks it's 500 or more. He thinks Thames got shortchanged.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. Like I said, I don't have any idea.
I mean,
there's not any measurements on the wall in the right center field area by the Braves bullpen, and it was a good 50, 60 or 70 feet above the bullpen and another 100 feet back.
Yeah, I mean, all the way. See that fan holding the sign up?
Yeah, right there.
It was a row or two, maybe shy of that. But that's how close Thames came to hitting it out of the ballpark. So I'm skeptical on the StatCast numbers, but I think Mr. Thames might want to have a chat with the computer on that one. That was unbelievable.
I think they really ought to bring out Kelsey's crew from the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, or wherever they were. Those engineers out here. Bring out their survey equipment.
Somebody put a plaque up there, for crying out loud, like they did with Hank Aaron.
Well, what nobody knew is that that guy's been standing out there with a sign for 3 years, and nobody knew it until today.
Like the guy that was Bernie Brewer the first time, right?
Yeah. Nobody even knew he had a sign until today.
And with all due respect, Evan, and we're not poking fun at him in any way, if I'm a pitcher and a guy hits a ball that far, that's, you know, you just, when you get posterized as an NBA player, you just kind of go, wow, that's a pretty proud moment in kind of a perverse way. The pitch. Strike called. 2-2 for Lorenzo Cain. Brewers are happy to have him back.
It's one of those situations, I mean, unfortunately for Evan, where it'd be nice to see him get a ground ball and get a double play.
There it is. Can the Braves turn it? Dansby to the bag for one, and Cain down the line too quickly. Not sure why Dansby didn't feed Albies, but that's the first out of the inning. And Aguilar's coming up again with runners in corners. So here's the Thames homer. Check out the StatCast on this baby. There's no way that's only 464. No way.
No, I'm with Billy Wags. I wonder why Dansby didn't toss that. Ozzie was standing right there at the bag.
A swing and a miss. So Billy is going to be in Atlanta next week. He's going to come by and say hi to us, try to get him on the air and reminisce. He said Mark McGwire hit a home run off of Billy Wagner once in St. Louis, which was no easy feat. Billy said it went 2 rows short of going out of Busch Stadium. Think about that. Wow. I'll tell you what, we talk so much about the Braves rebuild and all of that and where the Braves are hopefully headed. Can't ever forget guys like Billy Wagner and the role he played in his brief tenure with the Braves. One of the game's great guys, great pitchers, great competitors. He got it. Accountable, accessible, and so influential in the Atlanta pen. With Craig Kimbrell and Johnny Venters. Eric O'Flaherty out there. High fly ball by Aguilar. Deep left. Back to the track. This one's gone. The Aguilar has landed in Milwaukee, a 2-homer day.
That is a powerful, short, quick swing, too. Reminds me of Cecil Fielder. Remember him?
Yeah. His son was a pretty fair player in this place, too, wasn't he?
He was. Cecil was big like that guy. That one went as high as it went far out. Was off the facing of the second deck, but nowhere near Thames.
So 10 runs on 10 hits for Milwaukee. They've hit 4 homers today. And they have thumped Atlanta in game 4. And still only 1 out with Travis Shaw up there. Foul back. This is Phillips' game. Nobody else is going to pitch for Atlanta. We'll have 3 outs left going to the 9th inning. And that's upstairs ball 3 to Mr. Shaw. Reds and Cubs are tied 5-5 in the 9th inning. Cubs are trying to chase down Milwaukee. Another base runner. Chicago starts play a game and a half behind. And now Chuck Hernandez will come out and give Phillips a breather here for a moment. Last 8 wins for Chicago have been comeback victories. It was Castillo and John Lester at Wrigley Field today. John Lester with 11 wins got the starting assignment today. 10-1 Milwaukee game. Those are your unhappy totals to this point. We'll recap the road trip and preview the homestand before the break on Braves Live. That's brought to you by Xfinity, and it's coming up next.
Aguilar today has moved into a tie for the league lead in homers with Nolan Arenado. He's moved into a tie for second place in RBIs with 63, with Baez of the Cubs and Eugenio Suarez of the Reds leads with 66, and he missed about 3 weeks.
Yeah, he made his debut against Atlanta in Cincinnati, you might recall. Boy, the Reds are playing great. They've won 14 out of 19 games. Jim Riggleman has really turned around the Reds' fortunes.
Another team that might surprise you that's playing well. You mentioned them the other day, and I hadn't been paying any attention to them. The Oakland A's are 9 games over 500. And they shut out Cleveland today 6-0.
Bouncy ball to Camargo. Got the hop, double clutch, threw to first. That almost caught him. It cost him. Perez is caught at first. And there's the out, 2 away. Sorry, Joe.
No, that's perfectly all right. 10 games over 500 now. And they've won 8 out of 10. The Oakland A's playing good baseball.
So I wonder what the Oakland front office will do. The A's would be the 3rd wild card at the moment if American League action was headed to the playoffs. That being the first non-wild card team in the playoffs. They're trying to chase down Seattle and the Yankees. Oakland plays in the same division as Seattle. They're 6 games behind them. So are the A's going to sell, or are the A's going to buy at the end of the month? They're obviously, as you said, playing good. That means they have a lot of good players that other teams might want. So we're going to miss by Saladino. Strike 2. Screen and out of play. Giants lead the Cardinals 3-1. That game's at AT&T Park in San Francisco.
Say they made a deal today?
Yeah, the Giants traded Austin Jackson and Corey Guerin to the Texas Rangers along with a pitching prospect. Texas took on all the remaining money of Guerin and Jackson as this one's hit to left. Culberson on the run is there and puts it away. In other words, Texas bought all the players, got the prospect, and gave the Giants economic room to maybe pull off another deal before the deadline out west.
Hashtag hats off for heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Big innings, the story today for Milwaukee. One of them because of Eric Thames' long home run in the 8th inning, a 464-foot blast. He stays in at first base. Keon Broxton is checked in for Kane the rest of the way. Kane just back from injury, so Broxton will patrol center. And Jacob Barnes is on for the 33rd time for the Brewers, who lead by 9 with 3 outs to get in the top of the 9th inning.
Good numbers for him, too. And not one of the principals, I would say. He had a rough outing here on Friday, did not record an out, gave up 4 hits and a walk and 3 runs. 9-run lead here. I think it's safe to run him out there and get him back on track if you're Craig Counsell.
Dansby leads off. The Brave shortstop has a double and a run scored. And went around, it's a strike, 0-1. Can't wait to get back to SunTrust Park Tuesday night. Got Sandlot night coming up with the Diamondbacks in town, I believe. It's one of the all-time great baseball movies. No swing that time. It's an even count. Miami blows the game open and wins Washington over Washington today, 10-2. That's now a final, snapping Miami's 14-game losing streak head-to-head with the Nationals. It looks like the Phillies will lose, the Braves will lose, Washington will lose. Anibal Sanchez started yesterday for Atlanta and pitched another great game. Forward to seeing him pitch on the homestand as Dansby goes fishing, didn't get it, and he's retired for the first out. Danny Santana is the batter. Danny did not start in this game. He came in the bottom of the 5th inning after Ender Inciarte was pulled from the game after not running out a pop-up that was dropped. Ender not getting to second cost the Braves run after a hit later in the inning. What was then a 5-1 score. The defensive change came in between innings. One ball, no strikes. And downstairs, ball 2. The Freeway Series continues tonight. It's the Dodgers and the Angels. The game will be in Anaheim. Dodgers are a game behind Arizona in the National League West. The Angels 14.5 games back in the AL West.
Boy, they have. When Trout had to go on the disabled list, they just all the air went out of them. A good team that just went into a deep slide.
It'll be Alex Wood and Andrew Haney pitching out west in Anaheim. And downstairs, ball 3. Nobody wants to play the Dodgers, a team that everybody could have buried out west and didn't. LA just thumping home runs at a furious pace. Max Muncy having a first half for the ages for the Dodgers.
Speaking of surprise all-stars.
Yes, sir. And ball 4 in a 10-1 game. Thank you very much. Santana's aboard with 1 out. And back to the top. It'll be Tyler Flowers. So he is the last extra player available for Atlanta. Phillips line, an inning, 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 2 homers. And then That's in for a strike. Santana takes second. Defensive indifference. No balls and a strike. And a broken bat liner over second. That's down for a base hit. Santana will be waved around. And Tyler Flowers with a pinch hit RBI. And the Braves get a run back. It's now 10-2. We'll do Tyler some good. He's had some tough luck on the road trip. And Barnes issues the walk, pays the price in the 9th inning. And now Ozzie Albies bats. In an hour and a half, the National League and All-Star starters will be announced for the Midsummer Classic in Washington. Sure hope that Ozzie was able to hold off Scooter Gennett and Javi Baez to earn the starting assignment. We'll find out with you. Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis led their respective positions at the last voting tabulation. Possible the Braves could have 3 starters for the National League and could have at least 4, maybe even 5 All-Stars, depending on who Dave Roberts selects as his extra men and pitching rotation and bullpen.
That'd be a real shot in the arm for this team too, and the organization, in terms of a little measuring stick of how far they've come.
No balls, 2 strikes for Ozzie. And way high. Ender Inciarte was the lone Braves representative on the All-Star team last year. Julio Teheran, the lone representative in 2016. In 2015, Shelby Miller was the lone representative. Was in the throes of the Braves' long rebuild, and the rules stipulate that you have to have at least 1 representative per club, and those were the choices. So I think you're right. That's a sign that the Braves have emerged from that rebuild and are headed in the right direction. I think back to 2010. Braves had 7 All-Stars that year. Jason Hayward, Tim Hudson, Omar Infante, Brian McCann, who was the MVP, Martin Prado, and Billy Wagner. Excuse me, 6. Billy Wagner was the Atlanta All-Star that year. Bouncing ball toward first. Thames will feed the pitcher. Runner to second, 2 outs. In 2003, the Braves had 7. The math isn't so good. 2003, Giles Furcal, Andrew Jones, Javi Lopez, Russ Ortiz, Gary Sheffield, and John Smoltz. And that really was a perennial thing. The Braves would have 3 or 4 representatives. Who knows, maybe 2018's the start of a very similar type All-Star run. So look forward to that announcement. See if Freddie can pick up a 3rd hit. He has come to life these last 2 games in Milwaukee, and that is great news. Crowd tonight in Milwaukee, 43,262. Those are averaging over 34,000 per game. No balls and a strike. Downstairs, it's even.
The Brewers only went in order twice today, and that was sort of 2 innings that were pitched by Luis Guajara. So we got him 6 up, 6 down.
1 ball, 1 strike. Flowers at second, 2 outs. And upstairs. And the interesting thing about the Braves in this hitter-friendly park, have not hit a home run. That's never happened to the Braves in Milwaukee before, which is a testament to how good the Brewers pitching has been. You keep the ball in the park, you got a chance to win. Atlanta couldn't do that today. Milwaukee has slugged 4 homers here in game 4. And there's a shot toward left. That ball is up off the scoreboard, and that's going to score a run. Freeman has 3 hits. Flowers scores. Ball dropped, and Freeman's at second with a double. And Atlanta's now within 7. It's 10-3.
Yeah, it was a good thing for Christian Yelich that it's a big lead because he couldn't see it in the sun. Bright sun right in his face. He decided and elected not to try and run back, get hit in the head with it, so he played it off the wall and then dropped it. But a good series, a good finish to this road trip for Freddie Freeman. Good sign.
Back-to-back 3-hit games for the Braves first baseman. 24 doubles for him. And Nick Markakis will try to keep the game alive. He's got 113 hits, 37 multi-hit games. And outside, ball 1. Everybody's got their rally caps on for the Braves in the 9th. But no margin for error, 2 outs. And isn't it funny? No matter the lead, no matter the situation, when a relief pitcher issues a walk in the 9th inning, it just causes so many problems. It's a real head scratcher. It was a 10-1 game. Barnes issues the walk to Santana, and Braves have gotten a couple of runs. Tampa Bay beat the Mets 9-0. Nate Eovaldi was the pitcher in that one. Wonder if he'll be a trade target.
Oh, he has been hot. I watched some of his game his last start, and it was outstanding. He just sat at 97 the whole time he was out there.
1-0 pitch. Well, if they decide to keep him, how about the duo of Eovaldi and Snell? That's pretty snazzy, isn't it?
Lefty and righty.
Mariners lead Colorado 3-2. That game's late at Safeco in Seattle. Mariners play a ton of 1-run games. They have more 1-run wins than anybody. Barnes can't throw strikes. It's 3-0.
Well, and the last thing he needs to do, as poorly as he's pitching, is stare at the umpire when he doesn't get a call.
A little sarcastic cheer really helps, I'm sure. You try to get that last out. 3 balls and a strike. Again, the Brewer faithful will rise to their feet. And the payoff pitch. It's time to roll the barrel in Milwaukee. The Brewers beat the Braves 10-3, take 3 out of 4 in the series. And Atlanta has a 5-5 road trip, Joe, but still a share of first place in the East after this trip through St. Louis, New York, and red-hot Milwaukee. 10-3 is your final. We'll recap it for you from Miller Park right after the break.